Workforce Development Month is in full swing, folks, and we've got just the guest to help you celebrate Chamber members. I'm your host, Ashley Jones, Communications Director here at the Calhoun County Area Chamber and Visitor Center. Thank you for joining me for the Chamber's official podcast, where I'll be bringing you news you can use for your organization, Chamber event info and updates, as well as a local guest sharing what they do best to help connect you to our community. We've got updates from the U.S. Chamber of Commerce, as well as some of our upcoming events here at the Chamber. Be sure to stay until the end for my interview with Alex Wilkerson, the new Workforce Connections Program Director at the United Way of East Central Alabama, and hear about how the Workforce Connections programs work with our local youth, is better preparing them for their life outside of K-12 education. According to the U.S. Chamber of Commerce, an increase in foot traffic has caused spending to remain steady as consumers search for bargains. Month-over-month sales at small businesses in August held steady with a negative 0.2% change, and year-over-year sales at small businesses rose 3.9% compared to August of 2024. Small businesses are adopting artificial intelligence at record rates, with 57% of Alabama small businesses embracing AI, but share growing concerns over state AI and data privacy regulations. Some of the U.S. Chamber of Commerce's top takeaways include 8 in 10 small business owners credit technology with helping them cope with inflation and supply chain disruption and improving access to capital. 82% of small businesses use AI increased their workforce over the past year. And 77% of small businesses that use AI report that limits on the technology would negatively impact their growth, operations, and bottom line. Thanks to your help, we're less than $2,500 away from meeting this year's membership drive goal of $10,000, Chamber members. If you know someone on the fence about joining, send them our way so we can share with them all the amazing benefits of Chamber membership. This year's theme is Who Wants to Be a Membernaire, so put on your best Regis Philbin impression and celebrate with us. Registration for this year's Business Expo is still open, but booths are going fast, so don't miss your chance to participate with us. This year's theme is Favorite TV Show, so dress up and join us on Tuesday, October 28th from 10 a.m. to 4 p.m. at the Anniston City Meeting Center. You can sign up via the banner at calhounchamber.com or contact Savannah at Savannah and the letter D at calhounchamber.com. For more information on our upcoming events this fall, please visit our event calendar at calhounchamber.com. Without further ado, please join me in welcoming today's guest, Alex Wilkerson.
Yeah, I'm so excited to be here. Thanks for inviting me on to talk about United Way and Workforce Connections.
Yeah, so for those of us who don't know who you are, you've been at JSU for a little while, but you're back at United Way. So talk about you, let the community know who you are, what you got going on, your hobbies and chamber stuff.
So I started here at United Way in 2021. So I was actually working with Workforce Connections at that point. I guess I should start before that. I was a graduate of Jacksonville State University and Georgia State University. But made my way back to Alabama and found my way to United Way. And that sort of started a career in workforce development and career readiness. So I did end up taking a job at Jacksonville State University as a career advisor for about 2.5 years. And then a position opened back up here, back at Workforce Connections with United Way, and I couldn't really pass it up. So back here.
So you must have enjoyed the work for sure in workforce development.
Absolutely. It's very rewarding. We get to work with a lot of awesome students, collaborate with the school systems and local industry. So it really kind of gives me a chance to do all the things that I'm passionate about.
Yeah. And so I know folks have definitely heard of United Way in one form or another. You guys have an awesome campaign every year for regular giving. Can you tell our listeners just a little bit about some of the things United Way does for the community? They may not even know about all the resources.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, traditionally, United Ways in general are fundraisers, and typically they provide grants to local community organizations. But our local United Way of East Central Alabama, really in the past few years has moved a lot toward direct service providing, providing direct services through different programs. So yeah, there's a lot of different things that you can take advantage of, resources available for the community. We've got one of the newer initiatives that we have is the homeless shelter, Martha's Hope. That's obviously a great resource, given the need that we have in our community for those services. Paired with that, there's Thrive, which is a mental health initiative to really help, you know, whether they're unhoused or, just struggling in other ways. There's ways for them to get back on their feet through mental health and case management. So that's a really great initiative. Another one that people may not be familiar with, or they may be familiar with, is Hope United. That's our anti-trafficking initiative. So a lot of education surrounding trafficking issues in our community. One of those things that we may not realize that we have that issue in our community, but we do, and it's important that we have people on the front lines trying to combat those things. Some other things that are just valuable resources for everyone is the VITA free income tax assistance. It's volunteer income tax assistance, and they're IRS trained to provide that sort of assistance, and it's completely free for households with incomes below $60,000, and if you're a veteran and different criteria like that, you can get income tax assistance for free, and that really just helps helps our clients keep their entire refund so they can go back into the economy, help them get a leg up going into the new year. Some other things that we have going on, we have a lot with youth opportunity. So the Success Academy is a program that's been around for a while, but United Way has taken it over in the last couple of years. It's a partnership with the district attorney and the local juvenile justice system to really provide students an opportunity to, rather than going to Coosa Valley or some other detention center, come to Success Academy to finish out their schoolwork in a more structured environment. So yeah, that's our youth diversion program. We also have the Helping Families Initiative, which is aimed at combating truancy among students in secondary, post-secondary school. That's another partnership with the district attorney. We really try to get to the bottom of why students may not be going to school. A lot of times it's not necessarily that they just don't want to go to school. It's that they are having to provide for their siblings or take grandparents to doctor's appointments and things like that. So really, HFI helps get to the bottom of those issues and resolve those issues so that students can get back into the classroom. Also have Imagination Library. It's a very popular one with Dolly Parton. That's a program that allows children age 0 to 5 to get monthly books delivered to their mailbox for free. It's just a great way to combat childhood or to promote childhood literacy, and just make sure that every child has a library at the house to take advantage of. Also, we have WorkFORCE Connections, which is obviously my program. That's a youth provider program for career readiness, and I know we'll probably talk a little bit more about that. And lastly, I'll mention 211 because that's the easiest to remember and probably one of the most helpful. So if anyone knows anyone that is needing resources or support in any way, if you have them call 211, or if you call 211, they can provide information on the resources available for that specific challenge that you're facing. So if no one takes anything else away from this, just remember 211. It's an easy 3 numbers to remember, and it can really open up a lot of access to resources for community members.
Yeah, I think most people have access to some kind of a phone now. I know that there's going to be one payphone, maybe in Piedmont, that I've seen somehow. Right. But if you do need those resources, or maybe we do have a lot of transient folks, especially in Anniston. The public library is a good resource. If you can't quite get to United Way a couple blocks away, you can come by the chamber. It will obviously help you get in touch with them. Yeah. United Way has a lot of stuff, y'all, that you might not have known about. So aren't you glad we have Alex this morning to come talk about
There's
it?
definitely a lot going on,
Yeah.
and it's grown over the past few years. It's just
It really has.
one initiative after the other.
But that's good though, because I mean there is a need in our community. And we talked about the truancy stuff. A lot of folks, maybe in the northern half of the county or anywhere really, might not have transportation. I
Yeah.
know that's a big one. Some school systems may not have a bus, or if they just don't have a reliable car in their family, or what for whatever reason.
Yeah, it's a
Hoping to get
huge
that
challenge.
addressed. Yeah. So it's good to know that y'all are doing the important work that some folks might not see, they might not notice.
Yeah, absolutely. And just a little bit more about Workforce Connections. So we are a youth provider program funded through the Workforce Innovation Opportunity Act. It's a federal grant program. And our entire goal is to help youth, get to their next step, to whatever they, are looking to do with their future career, whether that be going straight into the workforce after they graduate high school, or enrolling in some sort of post-secondary education, or enlisting in the military. Our goal is just to help them get to that point. So we do a lot of career readiness, career exploration, professionalism and leadership skills development and things like that. But we also do some life skills like financial literacy and budgeting and communication and all the good things. So it's a pretty holistic program. We provide a lot of support services for the participants. We have once a month we have classes and one-on-one mentoring sessions with the participants. And that really gives us a chance to dive into the challenges that they may be facing individually, and just helping them meet their needs and reach the goals that they've set for themselves.
Is there a chance? So United Way does do a poverty simulation. Is that right? Is that part of
Yes.
Workforce Connections, or is that just another resource?
Yeah, so it's not through Workforce Connections, but we do that poverty simulation with our participants. But that's something that a lot of different organizations and schools can reach out to us for, is to have that poverty simulation. It really is educational. Now we've shifted to ALICE, which is asset limited income constrained but employed. So that expands our definition of what counts as poverty. So it really kind of opens people's eyes about the challenges that people face, even if they have a decent income, just the cost of living and the challenges that people face on a day-to-day basis. Having that simulation really helps the younger students understand what kind of challenges they're going to need to be aware of when they enter the real world and get out on their own and start paying bills, having to make those hard decisions about, what's a necessity and what's a luxury.
Yeah, can't buy a luxury bag. We got to pay
Yeah,
groceries.
exactly.
Or you
So
can. I guess no one can stop you, but you probably shouldn't.
yes, you'll probably regret it later on.
Yeah, you can't eat the handbag, or I wouldn't.
Yes.
I brought it up.
Yeah.
I had gone through it in LCC, and I was one of those individuals that had, I think the role I played, and a lot of people don't know the profiles that you could get during the poverty simulation, at least at that point, were real people in our community without identifying information. So I was a gentleman who had an HVAC certification, and I had a lot of child support to pay, still having to pay a mortgage and all these things, which sounds a lot doable until I got in there and I was like, oh, I'm really having to like stretch. I had to sell a couple things. And I just I'm like, I have to keep my truck so I can get to work, or I had to get bus passes. That was a thing you had to do, and you only had so much time during the day because the office could close. It was very chaotic, but I mean, it's true if you work, full-time or even part-time job and you have other responsibilities trying to get around town to get the resources.
It's difficult, especially if you have transportation issues, especially in our rural area where public transportation isn't as readily available. Just understanding those challenges and, what people are going to have to be going through. And like you said, it's real life situations. We see these every day. People are trying to make ends meet with the little resources that they have. And, of course, that's why United Way and other community organizations are here to try to help bridge the gap between, the resources they have available and, what they need to make ends meet.
Yeah, I think there is a certain level of privilege with people if they have never had to deal with a low income lifestyle at all. My mom was a nurse, but she was a single parent. It raising me and my brother. So we had to work a lot around, like, hey, I can pick up Aiden from school. I did have
Right.
to like help parent my brother for a little while because she was, working and doing what she had to do to make ends meet. So I think it's definitely important. I feel like everybody should go through it, especially younger people too. Like, hey, this is
Absolutely.
this is what the real world is like once you get out of your parents' house. If they're covering all your bills and everything, it's like, oh,
Yeah, it's a great learning experience, and we always have, good reactions from the participants to go through that poverty simulation. It's just really eye-opening for a lot of them that some of them may be currently experiencing those situations.
yeah.
Like you said, some of those participants may not have experienced growing up in poverty or in a low-income household. So it's just beneficial, kind of gives you a little bit more insight onto what other people in our community may be going through and the importance of being involved in supporting wherever you can.
Mhm. Well, yeah. So I'll have information for all these programs in the description of the episode, just in case anybody's wondering. But yeah, lots of good stuff going on at United Way.
Absolutely.
I do know that you guys also have some volunteer opportunities too. So for our folks listening that may really want to get involved with some workforce connections or all the different programs and services you'll have offered, what can they do to support you?
Yeah, so there are several volunteer opportunities, always really. So even down the road, if you are interested in volunteering, just reach out or go to our website. But upcoming, we have our United Way Day of Action on September 18th. If anyone's interested in signing up for that, they can go to the website or go to the Facebook page. They've got the sign up form on there. That is our event where we are packaging meals for local food banks. So it's a really fun event. It's, rewarding. It makes you feel good about what you're doing. But yeah, it's a great opportunity to get involved and you can kind of see a direct impact. We end up packaging 50,000 meals for local food banks and sending them out to those food banks that day. So yeah, again, if anyone's interested, we definitely encourage you to get involved. It's a really fun event. Other things to get involved with, of course, the Martha's Hope, the homeless shelter. There's always some volunteer opportunities over there. Another great way to get involved and provide support that is very meaningful and really just helps you get an understanding of challenges that other community members are facing. And I have to shout out Workforce Connections, of course. So volunteering with us, we are looking for people to provide professional mentorship to our participants. So we've got participants interested in a wide range of careers, some entrepreneurship, healthcare, manufacturing, engineering, different things like that. So we are going to be having a professional mentorship event later on in November. So if anyone's interested in being involved in that, they can reach out to me. And I think we can put my email address in the description, but that's a good way to kind of connect with the students that we're working with and really give back to people that hopefully are coming in line into the industry after we are. Really just support the next generation coming in. Just letting them know kind of what challenges they may face going into a certain career path or, tips or things that you've learned that could be beneficial for someone just coming into the career.
So that school might not teach you that we had to figure out on our own.
Absolutely. As we all know, it's, we don't learn everything in school that we need to. So, connecting with professional mentors really kind of bridges that gap.
I love it. So yeah, I'll have links to all that stuff too, and I'll have Alex's contact info in there for anybody that wants to reach out. But yeah, I think that's great. Is there anything else that you want to tell our chamber members listening, or really anybody else in the community?
I would just say, if you can get involved with anything, just get involved. There's so many great things going on in the community. The chamber has a lot of great events all the time. I know we're headed to a chamber event right after this is recorded. Which that's one of the best parts about this community is there's so much great community building activities going on. So whether it be breakfast at the chamber or business after hours or our United Way events, there's just so much to do and so many opportunities to get involved. So I would just encourage everyone to get involved in the community and understand the challenges that our neighbors are facing and really do our part to help overcome those challenges.
Sounds like a plan to me. I know I actually haven't got to be a part of Day of Action for a little while now, but it was a lot of fun. If you haven't been, it's an assembly line. So
yes.
you have people for, I think it was within like an hour. Typically all the meals are done and you're like, how do you do 50,000 meals in an hour? And I'm like, well, you got a lot of help.
It's a lot. And there's a ton of folks there. I will say there are hairnets involved. So that throws some people off, but it really is a fun activity. We kind of make it a competition with each table.
Yeah.
Ringing bells as we get done with the boxes.
And music and the megaphone. So they'll let you know kind of like benchmarks. So it's like, okay, yeah, we're really making progress. Yeah.
Yes, it's awesome. It really is awesome. And that's at JSU's Pete Matthews Coliseum. So it's, pretty central. There's a ton of folks, but there's a ton of space in there. So it's all good. All hands on deck is how we approach that. So, it's hard work, but it goes fast. And it really does make an impact for our local food banks.
Oh, I love it. Well, Alex, thank you for joining me today.
Of course. Thank you for having me. It was awesome getting to talk about United Way and WorkFORCE a little bit.
That's it for this week's episode of the In Tune with Calhoun podcast. Again, I'm your host, Ashley Jones at the Calhoun County Area Chamber Visitor Center. If you're not already, be sure to follow us on social media with the links in the description. If you have any questions, just give me an email at ashleyj@calhounchamber.com. Be sure to subscribe to the podcast through Spotify or Apple Podcasts, or even directly at acast.com. That's acast.com. I hope you have a great week, and we will see you at the Chamber.